All right, hey Crown Council community, Stuart Anderson here for Crown Council Live. Grateful that you join us. This is our weekly broadcast out to our community. Grateful for everyone that has participated and is part of the live stream. What a fun thing to connect with all of our Crown Council members and resource partners, and every resource and engagement opportunity inside the Crown Council. This is where we try to feature it and bring to you a little more community that you can feel connected to this incredible group across the United States and Canada. So that is what we're going to do today. That is the purpose of the live stream, is to connect our community, hear their stories, and hear about what is happening in all of our Crown Council offices. So we have three separate stories that we're going to tell today from three different offices. One about Smiles for Life success, one about success with with coaches, with the TOPS team and the practice advisors, and then one of our great younger dentists, Chase Larson, sharing some advice with me and Steve with a recent podcast we did. So before that, I want to do just a little bit of housekeeping with you. So I'm going to share my home screen. This is crowncouncil.com, and I want to walk through just a couple of things really quick to make sure that everybody knows how to engage with tools and how to engage with what's available to Crown Council members. So as you can see up here, after I've logged in, I'll click on My Directory, and everyone's directory will look a little different, but this is what mine looks like. And I'm going to navigate to what's called the Premium Member Hub. And for all Crown Council members, this is the place where you are going to find the biggest library, as well as all of the tools that will help you and your team create a culture of success. I'm going to walk through just a couple items. As funny as it is, we joke around that Crown Council members are always asking about this fee report. So over here on the right, request a 2024 fee report. You've seen it on the email network many times where people ask, hey, I need a fee report for this zip code. Well, this is where you want to go. This is no charge to Crown Council members. Just submit this request, and we will take care of emailing you the Excel file. There's also a 44-minute video here that was one of our webinars that Steve recently did with Pam about some of the coding changes and things that you can see for 2024. So right here, you can request your zip codes fee report, and also our TOPS coaches are here to answer any questions about those fee reports, how you can use them and connect them inside your practice to make sure that they are used properly. All right, number two, I want to click here on our Smiles for Life weekly totals just to highlight some of our awesome offices. We've reached $500,000 in donations for Smiles for Life whitening. And here are our top offices. This is updated every week. So this was updated on the 15th. And look at some of these offices have already done so much donations with Smiles for Life whitening and Trays whitening. What an awesome thing to see this charitable money come in every week for us. So hopefully you can find your practice, feel some recognition here for the good work that we're doing with Smiles for Life whitening. All right, I want to highlight one more thing. This is a bit of a pat on the back to Steve. This is our skill of the week video, our skill of the week benefit, really. And every week for the last 2 years, we have produced a skill of the week video, Steve and I. Steve writes the scripts and we record them. And this is an opportunity for your team to sit down and really work on and train a skill that you can implement immediately inside your practice. This is the 200th episode. So Steve recorded 100 by himself, and we have done 100 more as we update the skills and change them a little bit and make sure that they are changing to the time that we are using them. So this is a huge part of your qualified membership and using your continuing education and training your culture. So I want to make sure that you are using this skill of the week. You can click here to see all of the library. So all 200 of them are here inside the Crown Council library, going all the way back to number one, mirroring. So hopefully your team is using this. This is the most used resource online for Crown Council members who usually take a skill and work on one of them a week, which is what we produce, that everybody can be working on. So really fun to go back and look at these, being a problem solver, managing patients' time expectation, case acceptance, but and however, helping patients feel involved. So we're now working on updating the new ones and working through new skills of the week. So really, really a fun thing that you should be utilizing. All right, that was it. That's it for me for sharing my screen here for engaging with our online systems. Very good. So I have 3 recorded videos. I know that joining the live streams, some people are so sensitive about joining the live stream live as it is a live program. So these 3 join me recorded, which was our big solution for figuring out a way to make sure that they were on. So I'll share this first video with one of our top Smiles for Life offices as we talk to them and ask them a bit about what they do to be successful as a Crown Council practice using Smiles for Life. So let me share my sound, share my desktop. All right, here we go. All right, welcome to our live stream, Dr. Chad Boger and Kim Cannon. Welcome from Plymouth, Minnesota.
Yes, that's right.
We are grateful, Greg and I are grateful to have you on to speak just for a few minutes about Smiles for Life and how over the years your office has been so successful with raising money for Smiles for Life whitening. And especially, I mean, we watch your team and how incredible they are when we get to be together at the annual event. I hope we can maybe spend even just a few minutes talking about your team and your practice and what you guys have built over the years. But welcome. Grateful to have you.
Thank you.
Looking very patriotic, Dr. Boger, USA basketball. Very good. So maybe as an introduction, will you guys talk a little bit about your practice, the size, where you are, and just a bit of the history so everyone knows a bit about you?
Sure, I'm the benefactor of having a great team. So my dad started the practice 46 years ago, I think, or almost 47. And we're in Plymouth, Minnesota, which is, 20 minutes west of Minneapolis. We've grown, and my dad, smaller practice has grown now. We have 42 employees and 6 doctors, and so it's a big operation in one sitting. So we don't have 2 offices, just one. So now we got a lot of moving parts here. We keep things moving and interesting.
You guys are one of the top offices in the Smiles for Life Hall of Fame. I think there's only maybe 3 practices who have raised more money over a lifetime of Smiles for Life. So 309,683 and 75 cents, in case anyone's trying, over the lifetime. So congratulations on Smiles for Life Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Maybe talk about how you guys look at Smiles for Life year to year. What is it about it that makes you decide let's do it again? We're off and running.
Well, I don't know if Kim can touch on this more than I can, but one thing is always fun. The annual event is a chance just to get reinvigorated with it and seeing just the totality of good that happens through the whole program, not just what we get to do. I think we certainly would say our connection to the charities themselves. They're people that we know over the years, and so some of them are patients, some of them are just people that they've been doing good with. So that makes it easy just to say we get to support them. But our team's fired up. I don't know what else that they love about it, but
I don't think it's ever a question if we're going to do it. It's just something we do. So every year we just plan on it and we try to introduce new things. And
in some ways, it's an easy way to do it. You want to be connected to the community, and it's like, okay, well, that's one easy thing for us to do. And we try to do a few things all the year, but it's the big one that we can also go to those same places that we're connected with and say, and here's a check, right? And here's something that's going to make, and everybody loves to have money to do the good things they do. Sorry, Greg, interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that we do see that the offices that seem to do the best at this are offices that make Smiles for Life part of the culture. And I loved your answer that is we just do it. It's part of the
Don't
office
think about it.
culture. Comes around, we do it, and you've had the same charities for a couple of years now,
Yep.
and so I'm sure it becomes part of the income that they hope to receive as well.
Yeah, they're always happy.
Very good. Maybe talk about so one thing that we hear is that running some Smiles for Life whitening year after year is difficult. It's all the patients have had receive whitening, or how can we continue to do this? So since 2000, I'm looking here, since 2005,
Five,
yeah, this your practice has raised 10 to 17,000, 20,000, 16,000. I mean, so every year. Maybe talk about that for a minute. How is it successful year after year?
So all started, and I'm going to hand it off to Kim because we've had to pivot a bit. The pandemic did a little bit, but we started off and it was easy. We dedicated obviously the period of time for whitening, and it was everybody got into it, and then and we did a lot of whitening. And it was only whitening, and we had rooms. But then the pandemic happened, and we also grew in size where we're almost busting out of the seams. So then it was harder to get a whole room for an in-office treatment, and so then it was harder, and then we had to shrink it, and then coming out of this, we said, well, this is not going the direction we're going. We wanted to keep raising more money, not less, and so put the team to the task of saying, well, what else can we do? And you guys came up with some great ideas, and
We've had challenges in the past, and one year Dr. Boger shaved his head when we hit our goal live on camera.
right.
Actually, his family did it for him, but that was fun, and the team loved that. But as Dr. Boger has said, these last couple of years have been more difficult. More people in masks, and just getting people to whiten, and they want to participate in the charities. So this year, we always email blast and let our practice and our team know about when it's coming and be prepared and save appointments, reserve things like that. But this year we did something newer. We did a roundup program, and it took us a little bit to get into it, but we simply, it's like when you go to the pet store and they ask you to round up for the Humane Society. I mean, I always do. So we just simply asked our patients, would you like to round up your patient portion today for Smiles for Life? And we were shocked at how many did it.
Very
and it
good.
could be $1, it could be $10, it could be whatever they wanted to do. So that was kind of fun. It was a little bit of a challenge to get people to feel comfortable asking, but Chris, our TOPS representative, was great at her verbiage, and she helped us with that, and that's been fun for us, and we want to continue that throughout the year.
Nice. Kim, would you say you run Smiles for Life in the office? Are you in charge of making sure it runs smooth?
Oh yeah. We had to figure out how we were going to post this, how we were going to do this, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
one of our.
everybody gets involved.
It is one of our recommendations. If you're watching and you've never done Smiles for Life before, choosing someone in the practice who is in charge of Smiles for Life is a key to success for sure. If no one's in charge, if no one orders whitening or cares about marketing campaign or cares about the charities that are being connected with, it kind of just falls away and doesn't work. So we call that person the charity champion, Kim.
Oh,
So there you go.
I'll take it.
Hey,
But
if
I mean, it is just, it's making people aware, so it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
nice.
For us accounting nerds, explain how you do roundup.
It was a challenge, let me tell you, Greg. So we were trying to figure, because we're on an EagleSoft program, and how do you do this, and patients want receipts. So we first just started posting it to their account, and then at the end of the month we'd tally it, and then we'd send it into the portal. And now we've actually got a Smiles for Life patient in EagleSoft that we post to, and then once a month we'll send it in.
Great idea.
So it works. And people want to, and they like getting the cards with we post all the cards with their names that they've donated, and they just feel really good about it, whether it's, like I said, $1 or $20 or whatever they're able to give, and they do.
Very cool.
It's
So you
fun.
put their little things on the wall behind
Yeah.
you? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we put them on the window behind the front desk. So yeah.
If you guys were at the annual event and sitting at a table with a practice who's never done Smiles for Life before, what advice would you give that practice if they turn to you?
Huh. Well, they're missing an opportunity to do something good in their community, right? There's got to be somebody in your place that you know, a patient that's got an organization that is worth committing to. So I think that's one thing is you got to. It's an opportunity to go find somebody that you get to do something good for. And patients have been receptive to it. I mean,
Really
right? It's
receptive.
an easy thing. They can tell that you're doing something good too. So you look good while you're doing good. Seems like a win-win for everybody.
Definitely. I agree. How about you, Kim? Any advice you'd give to a team member starting off Smiles for Life for the first time?
Um, well, I think it is good to get the entire team involved and get them kind of excited about it and
Yeah, because
to see the success
you
and
need their help, right?
right, you need their help. It's fun to have a challenge. They like that. um, and yeah, and I think just talk about it. And, I mean, just little things around the practice. We utilize the items that you send, the posters, the stand-ups. We also do a screen saver in all the treatment rooms with the logo. So
Nice.
it's always kind of front and center to keep people thinking about it. And, when you're busy, it's easy to forget, but yeah,
Very cool.
little things.
Very good. Gregor, any other questions for him before we wrap up?
I'm wondering about the time when you go to present the check to the charity. Do you do anything special? I mean, do you say, hey, next year, what we'd really love is, or, I mean, what do you do when you take the check? Anything
Well,
special?
We've
They
done
have a big check.
we've done a little bit of everything, but over the years, right? But yes, I think we've done the big checks where they walk in and we take it. It's good for a photo op. There's been some times where we've actually been at the place, where we've been going there to volunteer, and so it's like, you're just there and you're talking and you can see the people, and so there's that where we're there. I don't know if that's really special, but that's what it's been. I don't know if we
And
did
that'll
it.
be the schools.
Yeah. Did we do
Nice.
anything else? I forget. Big
Um,
checks.
It's been mainly the big checks.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, where I was going with the question was, you make an appointment or you're there and you physically hand it to them. You don't just drop it in the mail and say, thank you very much.
Yeah, another chance to build the relationship and the connection, right?
yeah.
And that is so important.
Yeah.
Also motivates them to think of you when they've got a patient that needs some help.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, all righty, crew. We're grateful for your time. Thankful for all you do to build Smiles for Life Whitening and be leaders in Crown Council. So grateful for our minutes here together today. Anything else before we wrap up?
Well, I guess thanks for the opportunity to not just be here, but for getting us to do Smiles for Life in the first place, right? You guys help keep all of us together and make our impact even bigger than it could be by ourselves.
Nice. Well, go ahead, Kim. Sorry, what was
Oh, I
that?
just said we're proud to be part of it.
Nice. Well, good. Well, a guy told me to always say, well, we're happy to do it. So, okay, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Those guys are awesome. So, really grateful for Chad Boger and his practice, and specifically those offices that continue to come back to Smiles for Life year after year with energy and enthusiasm, and then we get to honor them at the annual event. It's one of our most favorite things to do is honor those practices at the annual event who raise $10,000 or more or enter the Smiles for Life Hall of Fame. So grateful for them and thankful for the example and leadership that they share with the Crown Council. So we'll do more about our successful Smiles for Life practices in the upcoming live streams to learn about what they're doing and specifically some of the things that they do year after year that make them successful. All righty, very good. Hey, so I am going to share my screen again. We've got another video. Let's make sure I can find it. Crystal joined me for Coach's Corner is what we call it. And I'm grateful for Crystal that she could find the time. I know it's difficult for these teams to connect when they are obviously they have a coach in the practice and they're very busy. And it's just so fun to be able to connect with them and hear what they're working on, what the coaches are working on, and how the practice has changed since having a coach and what they're doing. So I'll let Crystal do the introductions. And this was recorded I think we recorded this last week when Crystal was in this practice. So, all right, here we go. Welcome to the Crown Council live stream. I am Stuart Anderson, and this is our Coaches Corner with one of our TOPS coaches, Crystal. How are you?
Doing great, Steve. How are you today?
I am very good. Can you tell us who we're with today?
So we are in Vermont with Dr. Tiffany Shrika.
Hi, Tiffany.
And
very good. Just as a little bit of an introduction, this is our TOPS coaches are out in practices all day, every day. And we found about a year ago how fun it was to connect with our Crown Council members and with our TOPS coaches to see what they're doing, who they're meeting, and just share some of the stories from this awesome community that we are a part of. So thank you, Dr. Shrika, for joining us.
Happy to do it.
Happy, she's, oh, look at that. You're already trained. Very good. Happy to do it. I know, it's almost funny. Yesterday I was texting with the TOPS coaches and saying, hey, who can join me? And then I think I said, Crystal, thank you so much. And you said, it's my pleasure. And I'm like, ooh, that's good. That's a good one. That's a very good one. So
Steve says I can do it.
Okay, good. You guys have a good story. Can we talk about how you met and how Dr. Shrika was introduced to Crown Council?
Yes. So met Dr. Shrika about a year and a half ago at our seminar, Should You Be Insurance Free?
Nice.
Was able to meet Dr. Shrika and her business managers. And we had a great time working through the process of going unrestricted with insurance and taking back control of how we treat our patients. And going through that process, Dr. Shrika, I led her team through the coaching process on it, and now actually been in full coaching support with you and your team for a year and a half now. Yes. Yeah. So it all started with the desire to go unrestricted and take back control of how Dr. Shrika wants to do dentistry for her patients, and meeting at that seminar.
Nice. Dr. Shrika, I've spent some time on your website. I love the paragraph here, why you became a dentist. Can we start there? Would you share your story a little bit about that?
Sure. I had the pleasure of being on a children's TV show. When I was in 6th grade, we got to interview professionals throughout our local area, and I fell in love with the pediatric dentists in our area. They had a whole room that was built like Noah's Ark and made every kid feel incredibly special and safe at their visit. And in 6th grade, I said, that's what I'm going to do. I want to be a dentist. And I followed through with that. I became a dental assistant, went to dental school, and have been practicing ever since. And it's been exactly what I was hoping for.
I love that. That's awesome.
It is. It's the best story, especially since like I've got a little person in my house who she kind of has the same thing. I'm like, but you're like a 5th grader. Are we really going to make this decision now that you're going to go into this profession? But it's good. It's awesome.
It worked out. Now, I'm not a pediatric dentist. Children are not my specialty. However, I do treat all ages, but it's been wonderful. Dentistry has been exactly what I was hoping for.
Very good. Could you introduce your team a little bit, where you work and what your practice is like?
Absolutely. We are in a small town called Wilmington, Vermont, in southern central Vermont. We have the distinct, I'm going to say, privilege of being the sole provider in the area. So we do not have dentists for about 25 miles to our east and about 35 miles to our west. And then about 30 miles to the south. So we have, like I said, a distinct privilege of caring for the community in our direct area. The team that I have is a team of 10 plus myself. I am the only doctor. We have a 4 hygiene team, 2 assistants, and a strong 4-person administrative team. And we have been focusing on treating our patients as unrestricted providers since January. That was our biggest focus with Crystal. And now we're working on improving our office culture and building a strong team and strong individual team members.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Crystal, could you talk about what you are working on today?
Yes. So today, now that we're, following our first full quarter of being an unrestricted provider as of January 1st, we now have the distinct opportunity to see more new patients in Dr. Shrika's schedule. Having the freedom and the flow of patients now where we want it to be, we now can focus on that red carpet experience for our new patients and our current existing patients. So we are working on tools and verbal skills and systems for welcoming those new patients into the practice. And that's what we're doing today, and enhancing all the other tools that we have been using up through this last year and a half that got us to this successful point that we are now, following first full quarter being unrestricted.
Nice. Dr. Shrika, I know that everybody's, well, I can't speak for everybody, but if they're watching, I am sure doctors and teams are saying to themselves, no way, I cannot go insurance free. Can you talk about your own mindset, like how you made this decision and made the change and introduced it to patients? Can you talk about that for a minute?
I can. It is a very daunting, challenging thing. So people listening, I feel for you. I did realize that once I had set this vision in motion, it is not something my team could do on our own. We were lucky enough to stumble on the top seminar, Should You Be Insurance Free? We traveled to Texas and had this amazing day and a half, amazing, with the coaches and Steve and Pam, to get us to a place. I mean, we were fired up, and I felt beyond ready to bring this back to Vermont. I realized, though, that I needed help. I'm no coach, I'm no trainer. I feel like I lead our team clinically, and we decided to hire a TOPS coach to bring the whole, part of the seminar to our team, to our location. And we had plenty of time to work out our verbal skills, how we wanted to explain to our patients how this enhances their treatment and their care, and what we could be doing for them moving forward. So it empowered us to have face-to-face, knee-to-knee conversations with patients. The team felt so prepared and so confident and so ready. So when we were able to do that for 6 months, we were able to speak with almost every patient in person, answer their questions, just really give them the experience they deserve. And it made our transition very smooth. And
it was an amazing experience. What I did was, following the seminar in Texas, Dr. Shrika brought me into her team to focus specifically an entire training and implementation on the rest of her team with the unrestricted verbal skills, and how to go about that 6-month process, where we laid steps in place to have this strategy where we controlled the information and the conversations, to be able to have the opportunity to explain why she was going unrestricted and why it mattered. And so once that was underway, coaching the team on how they were going to have confidence in these conversations was an amazing process. Because watching the team adopt something that was pretty scary at the beginning. Challenging. By the time we went from the 8 o'clock in the morning, by the end of the afternoon, it was amazing watching their transformation in the confidence. And we wrapped that up on a Friday. Monday morning, they went straight into having conversations with their patients. And what did they say?
It was amazing. They could not believe how working through a challenge brought us all together, made us have the ability to really speak to our patients in a meaningful way. We didn't shy away from sharing information with them, and they deserve to have the space to have their questions answered. Every single team member was prepared to do that, clinical, administrative, and myself. So we really gave them a 5-star experience with this transition. And let me tell you, since January, my personal and professional life has changed completely. It is a game changer, not being held, unfortunately, to insurance contracts. It has really changed the way my outlook every morning, my team's outlook, and it's given us the time and space to work on, like Crystal said, that red carpet experience for every single patient, not even just our new patients. And my patients are saying, what's different? Your team is phenomenal. And
Mhm.
so when you give yourself a little bit more time
Mhm.
and a little less chaos in your practice, you'll be really surprised with the
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, because now it's about the quality time, because you're not having to have faster, quicker appointments to make less on the dollar. You're able to really do the dentistry and the patient care that you want to in the way you want, and not lose a lot of patients either. That's the big fear. You think you're going to lose all these patients. Well, guess what? That's not the reality.
You're
Some
not-
may initially want to leave, they come back.
They do.
Yeah.
And once you give them the space to answer all of their questions and they don't have fear, it gives them the permission to stay when they don't feel scared or
Mhm.
afraid or ashamed to ask questions.
Right.
So
As we wrap up, if there is any, like, let's say you were chatting, I know we've already kind of gone over how special and important this is, but if you were going to share one thing that your practice does to create that 5-star experience for patients that maybe you've done for a long time or something new, what would you share with the rest of the Crown Council that has worked for you?
implement your TOPS verbal skills. It is not something that we had for a very long time, but it's something that we all find is a strong value. It not only unites us as a team, it gives our patients the experience that they deserve.
Mhm. Yeah,
Very good.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
love
making
it.
them feel heard, and that's where it is, the trust, the relationship, listening and making them feel valued and heard. And we do that.
We do.
Mhm.
You guys,
Yep.
I love working for Crown Council, but I would work for, I'll work for you if you want me. I'm
Sold,
kind of
hired, on.
Your practice sounds awesome. So
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Okay.
And we're in Ski Town. You can work in the office
Oh,
and then go skiing. Mhm.
okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's do it. Thank you both. It was this has been so fun. I didn't even say anything. You guys are the best. So thank you so much.
We love it. Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for the opportunity to
Thank
get the word
you.
out. So,
You bet. Thank you
Appreciate it.
guys.
all right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, very good. A lot of great stuff in there. I know there's more to unpack with insurance and advice on how that is done. So, an excellent example of an incredible practice who is just putting patients first and building a culture of success with their team. So, Dr. Shrika, thank you. And thank you, Crystal. Grateful that we could have you on and share a bit of your practice with the rest of the Crown Council. All right, our final segment is it's 11:30. Well, 11:30 where I am. I am going to share just a bit. I'm not going to share all of it. Steve and I interviewed Chase Larson. It's a 46-minute interview for our mentorship series. We've shared a couple of these already, but this is an opportunity for our Crown Council doctors to share a bit about what they did after dental school, the journey that they took out of as soon as they graduated, and how they moved through their business and the decisions that they made, and then if they would change those decisions, what advice they would give to young doctors or those that are starting their practice. So grateful to hear from Chase and thankful for his involvement with our Young Dentist program and Smiles for Life and his example inside Crown Council. So I believe I've got this queued up where it needs to be. Let me share my screen with Chase, and we'll just share some of this interview. I won't play all of it. The rest will be posted to the Crown Council website, where you can listen to all of these mentorship podcasts. So let's just watch a little bit of Chase, and then we'll end our show. Thanks. All right, welcome everybody. We're grateful to have Chase Larson with us. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm excellent, Dr. Larson. Welcome.
Greetings, Chase.
Thanks for having me.
Dr.
Appreciate it.
Larson, I was actually looking at your record of you in our system, October 23rd, 2012, as a dental student. That's a long time ago.
It feels like just a few weeks ago at this point. Yeah, years add up quickly.
Very cool.
Do.
So, oh, go ahead.
Start out, and maybe you could just outline for everybody the journey, what got you into dentistry in the first place, and you've had a very interesting journey that's landed you where you are today. Walk us through decision points and experience to this point.
So my journey in dentistry really began as a senior in high school. I actually went on a Smiles for Life Crown Council humanitarian expedition with my
Nice.
dentist, who is Dr. Roy Hammond. And we went to Vietnam, and we had really two purposes as part of the trip. One was we were helping to build a school, and then we were also helping Dr. Hammond with the dentistry in a few different villages in the Mekong Delta in Vietnam. And that was really my first exposure to dentistry outside of just being a patient in his practice. And I kind of fell in love with the ability to help people. I thought it was just such a cool experience. And the other thing that really it highlighted for me was this unique skill that Dr. Hammond had to help people. So, we were there, we were helping build this school, but they could build a school too. And they were mostly just kind of showing us what to do. But the dentistry part was something that if Dr. Hammond wasn't there, it just wasn't going to happen for them. And so that was really the thing that sparked my interest in dentistry. And I worked with Dr. Hammond as a mentor to kind of figure out the path moving forward through college and then into dental school. But that was really the thing that got me started, was this relationship with a mentor, and then kind of carried me through dental school and through, the early years of private practice.
Nice. Chase, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience in dental school, where you were, and lessons learned from that part of your journey.
So I went to dental school in Boston at Tufts University. And, other than this relationship that I had with my mentors and some shadowing, I didn't have a lot of dental experience. So when I got into dental school, I honestly didn't even know the difference between an incisor and a canine. I was really, really new to dentistry. Didn't even really know what to expect in terms of dental school, and then also in terms of a career in dentistry. So it was all new to me. But dental school was a great experience for me, and I had some mentors in dental school as well. That I think the biggest thing for me was helping me build an excitement about dentistry and become passionate about a few areas in dentistry. And in dental school, you go in and there are so many different paths you can take after dental school, different specialties. If you're going to do general practice, a lot of different types of general practices that you can go into. And it's a little overwhelming trying to figure out your whole life in those few years in dental school and figure out what you want to do when you've never even really done it in real life. And so my third and fourth years of dental school, I started working with this mentor. He was a Brazilian prosthodontist who really got me excited about aesthetic dentistry, restorative dentistry, and we started doing some cases together and started figuring out, okay, this is something that I really like doing, and started focusing more and more on that in dental school. So that was kind of the thing that got me started on this path, was just this excitement for dentistry and the cool things that you can do, because he was so passionate about it. And you could tell it was just something that he loved doing. It wasn't a career where it was just something to make money for him. It was just a passion that he had. And so I thought, man, that's really a cool way to look at your career and be excited to come to work, be excited to work with patients. And so I decided after dental school, that's kind of the route that I wanted to go. And so I did a residency in Idaho, and it was a AEGD residency, and it was a really broad scope of practice. We did a lot of surgery. Our clinic director was an oral surgeon, and so we did a lot of oral surgery. But I also had a couple good restorative dentists who were mentors there, and did some larger restorative cases that I couldn't do in dental school. And again, just started doing more and more of that and realizing that that was something that I wanted to do. So through dental school, through residency, you're still trying to figure out exactly where you want to go, what type of practice you want to have. But I feel like I started to kind of build this vision in my head for the practice that I eventually wanted to have, and the career and kind of lifestyle that I wanted to live around dentistry, by watching other mentors and other dentists who were passionate about it.
And Chase, if I can just highlight this, because if you're like most dentists, I'm sure there were some dental school professors that were not not as positive and passionate as your Brazilian mentor. That'd be safe to assume.
I would say the majority, the vast majority.
Okay, so I want to highlight this for everybody who's listening to this. There was something inside of you that chose to gravitate towards somebody who was passionate and positive about the profession and had love for it. And, we always say you become like the people you surround yourself with. In your case, you chose a positive minded mentor, and somehow you kind of put on the sideline all the guys who were negative and let them kind of do their thing, but didn't allow them to negatively affect you. And I know that sounds like a simple principle, but often violated.
Right. And I think the biggest thing that attracted me to those types of people was the excitement that they had about it. And it really seemed like anything was possible. Let's just figure out a way. As opposed to, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's not the right way to do it. It was like, okay, let's figure out a way to do it. We can make this work. And then really taking an interest in me. I mean, these were people that really, you could tell, enjoyed mentoring, enjoyed working with young dentists, and kind of put their arm around me and made me feel like, anything's possible.
And they're out there.
They're out there for sure. Yeah. And because at every stage of my career, I've found those people. They're there and they want to help, and they're fun people to be around for sure.
Oh, and starting with Roy Hammond. I mean, he opened the door.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
So you practiced in a number of, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just I kind of going along with Roy. I mean, it wasn't just that experience that I had as a 17-year-old high school student. After I finished residency, I worked in a private practice, kind of a traditional PPO type practice for about a year, and then again, Roy Hammond came back in and introduced me to an opportunity at a fee-for-service practice that was a little bit more aligned with kind of the vision that I had for my practice style. And again, introduced me kind of to the next mentor in my life. That was Dr. Michelle Jorgensen, who had this really unique holistic practice. But she was also at the time doing a lot of comprehensive restorative dentistry, aesthetic dentistry. And so really quickly, early in my career, I had this opportunity to work with her and learn from her and start doing a lot of dentistry that I probably wouldn't have been able to do in a lot of other practices. And so again, it was like, Dr. Hammond kind of was the one that got me going. And then I started working with Dr. Jorgensen, who she really had this abundance mentality. The idea that if the doctors that I'm working with, if my associates are doing well, that means I'm doing well, and really just pulled me up as much as she could to her level. And so I was able to do a lot of dentistry really quickly at a young age and early in my career.
Nice.
And then the path continued kind of back to Hammond.
Yeah, it did. And I've always stayed in touch. So Dr. Hammond, his son, Chris Hammond, was my dentist, as I was kind of going through like my junior high and high school years and through dental school. And so we've stayed really close friends. We actually went skiing yesterday and talked dentistry, for a few hours on the lift. But he introduced me to Dr. Hornbrook, who is a mentor to a lot of Crown Council dentists over the years, and connected me with the Young Dentist program. So when I was just starting working with Dr. Jorgensen, I went through this Young Dentist program with Dr. Hornbrook and was able to start to learn some of the systems that make aesthetic dentistry predictable, and saw again the passion that Dr. Hornbrook has for it, where he just loves what he's doing, and he loves teaching, and he loves kind of taking young dentists under his wing. And so it was kind of the combination of learning these principles from Dr. Hornbrook and then having an opportunity to implement them in a practice environment where I was supported and I was encouraged to do comprehensive dentistry. And so I was able to just do a lot of these cases and gain a lot of experience through that, and then working with Dr. Hornbrook, going through his courses, and then eventually, working together with him as a mentor, has just kind of helped me on that trajectory forward.
There's a theme developing here. Just to highlight for everybody is whether, I know you did this intentionally, but you have intentionally gone and connected yourself with positive-minded, passionate people. And you're that way, naturally. And, it's which comes first, which comes first, the passion and the positivity, or surrounding yourself with people who are passionate and positive. And it's a two-way street. It really is. You become like the people you surround yourself with, and you're naturally attracted to people who kind of have the same spirit, same mentality, the whole deal. So they go hand in hand. But as you've walked us through that path, I think you would agree, you've had some very passionate, positive influences in your professional journey.
Yeah, and the thing I've noticed is there is a lot of negativity in dentistry.
Yes.
You start to see it in dental school with instructors or professors. Everything's crap and everything's bad, and the world out there, it's just dentistry is a dying profession, and corporations are taking over, and insurance is taking over. And then you go to dental meetings and you hear the same thing. And so there is a lot of negativity around the profession, I feel like, right now, and kind of this doom and gloom about the future of the profession. And then you meet people like this who think the future's as bright as it's ever been in terms of dentistry. And the technology has evolved to the point where so much is possible that wasn't possible 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And it is a totally different mindset within the same profession about what's possible, and how we can use our skills and time to help people, but also to have this really fulfilling career that's fun, to show up to work every day.
In case you've tuned out, students, rewind that part, rewind it and re-listen to that.
Yeah, it's not all bad. Dentistry's great. Dentistry's a great profession, and there's a lot of good that lays ahead, I think, in terms of the future for dentists, and especially young dentists coming out of school.
Nice.
All right, Chase, I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready for the next question? I did not prep you for this.
Oh boy.
The Chase Larson philosophy of care. Go.
So we really built our new practice around this whole philosophy. Yes. And this is something so I started a new practice about 2.5 years ago. And I took a lot of the things that I learned from these mentors and created this vision that I had for my practice and for my life, really. And before we even did any design, before we did any name or logo, I sat down and I outlined my mission statement, my vision for our practice, and then our core values. And so the core values and our vision really go back to this idea of doing good. And this is something that I learned, again, from Dr. Hammond, starting out with the Crown Council and Smiles for Life, this idea of doing good. And so our whole practice really exists to do good. And I highlighted 3 main areas. So the first was actually not just for our patients, the first was for our team. So this goes back, again, even before I went to Vietnam. My mom actually worked for Dr. Hammond in like 1980 for 3 years. She worked as an assistant for Dr. Hammond while my dad was in law school. And it totally changed the whole trajectory of my mom's life, and in turn, our whole family.
Really?
So she learned things working for Dr. Hammond and his wife, Frances, about interacting with people, about caring for people. To this day, my mom writes a note to every single person who speaks in church on Sunday and sends it to those people.
Just like Frances Hammond did.
And that was, this was over 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so I saw the impact that a dentist can have on the lives of their team members, even beyond their time in the office. And so that was a big part of the reason I wanted to have my own practice, was to be able to do good for team members that come and go through through my
Nice.
practice. And then the second was obviously for our patients, to be able to do good for our patients, provide this life-changing service for them in terms of how they feel about themselves and how their quality of life is. And then lastly was people in our community. So this goes back to kind of this concept with Smiles for Life of helping and doing good, using our time and our resources to do good. And so that's something that we've tried to do in our practice as well. So to answer your question, I think the philosophy is to do good.
And I'll just put excuse me, a quick little definitional plug in here for those that are listening. The contrast that we draw between giving back, which is a phrase you hear a lot, and doing good. We don't believe in giving back. Giving back implies that you took something that didn't belong to you, so you have to give it back. Whereas doing good is much more broad and all-encompassing, like you've just outlined. Team, patients, community, a lot of things you do good to do good that are not, they don't all have to be charitable. I mean, you're doing good with your team by providing employment, providing a great place to work for your patient, all those things. So it is a all-encompassing philosophy. So I love that as the cornerstone for what you're doing now.
Yeah, and that's kind of our motto really, is we exist to do good.
Love it.
The whole practice exists to do good.
Nice.
And I think if we remember that, it helps a lot in terms of not only the way we treat patients, but it helps with, because dentistry can be really stressful, especially running a practice and treating patients. And there's worry that comes along with that. You worry about outcomes, you worry about your practice, you worry about your team members, and reframing that around the idea of, as opposed to worrying that bad things are going to happen, this idea that this worry comes from a place where, I'm trying to care about these people and I'm trying to do good for them, helps, so that I'm not laying in bed at night, worried as much. It's this idea that, I'm trying to help these people and caring for these people. It's kind of a mindset that I try to adopt.
All right, we'll stop it there. It's about halfway through. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start posting these mentorship podcasts out to the Crown Council Network and sharing them as a series. We'll have 12 of them. We've recorded 5 so far, and we've got one more ready to go for for next week. We're excited to share that series with everybody, and specifically our young docs. So grateful for everybody joining us today on the live stream. Fun to connect with a few of our Crown Council members and hear their stories and what's going on. As always, we at the Crown Council are here to help at crowncouncil.com. If you need us, you can text us there or call the Crown Council at any time, 1-800-276-9658. We're here to help with Smiles for Life questions. We're signing people up and teams up for the annual event next year, the 30th annual event in Frisco, Texas, which is going to be a huge celebration, probably the largest gathering of all Crown Council members ever. And we want you to be there. So connect with us here at the Crown Council office. We would love to hear from you and help you build a culture of success in any way. So, all righty, everybody. Thanks for joining the live stream today, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.